Everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Wednesday. It's June 26th. It is 2024. We have a 6-game MLB slate to talk about here on today's podcast. Joined today by my good buddy, Mr. Marvel himself. TJ, what's happening, my friend?
Busy. We were just talking pre-show how we both got a ton going on, but luckily it's only a 6-game slate, so we'll probably be in and out of here nice and quick. But doing really well despite all the busyness. Got a lot of good television coming out right now that I'm writing about. There's a Superman animated show, a Star Wars show that just delivered a absolutely impeccable episode of television. And The Bear comes out today, Wednesday evening. And so I'm going to be binging that so I can write a review for Agents of Fandom as well. And my little baby turns 3 months old today. So lots of busyness going on.
Oh, yeah. 3 months is fun. They don't start talking yet. So there you go. Or running around. They're still very immobile. Just wait. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday night. Hopefully you all saw the morning grind game. We brought that back. We're going to be doing it 2 or 3 times a week. Not on this slate, but 2 or 3 times a week. And if you won today's, it was like a free RotoGrinders t-shirt. So I'm not winning an RG t-shirt. I broke my own rule. I played Hunter Green. I played my lineup that I built on the morning grind. And I'm going to probably do that all the time because it's fun. But yeah,
if I'm on a show with a contest and I win the contest, do I get a shirt?
No. But you block somebody else from getting a shirt.
Yeah, but I only have like 1 t-shirt and 1 long sleeve. I could use more shirts.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is send an email. So, you know, it's funny you say that. Anybody in chat want to guess how many RG t-shirts I have?
732.
Give me. I'll let chat guess too, but give me a realistic number, and like once we get some guesses in, I'll give an idea. I don't know exactly how many shirts I have, but I have an idea.
How many years have you been with RG?
Over 10.
I'm gonna guess 27 shirts.
All right, I'll let chat roll it in, and 1. No, you're wrong.
I'm including like scores and odds and better.
Yeah, RG Network shirts. Yeah. RG Network shirts. All right, let's get started with the baseball slate and let some guesses roll in here. Toronto at Boston is where we start. Your Blue Jays, my Red Sox, 9.5 total. Red Sox a 162 favorite. Yarno Rodriguez against Cutter Crawford. Any interest here in Rodriguez?
I think maybe a little bit, actually, even though he got blown up his last start. It didn't really work out for him. This is a guy that has been pretty darn good when he has pitched for the Blue Jays so far. And so he doesn't have a really long leash, but he can probably get up to 80, 85 pitches. And at only 5K, I don't think it's ridiculous to take a shot on him. I don't like it. I don't think it's great by any means, but this is a guy who has, put up some decent ground balls in a limited sample size to a lefty so far, and that's who he's going to be facing mostly. At only 5K, I think it's somewhat interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been pitching great this year. Just overall, 21% Ks, 13.5% walks, WOBA at 390, really struggling with right-handed power bats. We'll talk about that in a second. You did bring up some stuff about lefties, but some of his advanced stats for lefties are really bad. Like he has a lot of negative.
Hard.
Yeah, he's got a lot of negative regression coming to his stats for lefties. Like his expected stats are like way higher than his actual stats. So running a little good on some of the stats against lefties. So not very interested in Rodriguez. Other side of this game, we got Cutter Crawford. Any interest here in Cutter Crawford?
No, I don't think so. Cutter is usually a guy that I like playing, and I mean, I play 150, so I shouldn't be too quick to dismiss because he's probably going to be in the pool. But the Blue Jays offense has actually been playing a lot better recently, and they don't strike out regardless. Even when they're not playing well, they still don't really strike out. And so Cutter Crawford is not a very strong ground ball pitcher, and those are typically the guys I like to target against the Blue Jays, although Bayo is, and that didn't go well today. I didn't play him, but that didn't go very well for him today. That offense is kind of hot, so even though Cutter Crawford is a pitcher I typically like playing, I don't love the idea of getting to him on this slate.
We had some options today at pitcher, even for a 6-game slate. So I could see having him in my pool, but I don't think he's like this like lights out pitcher. We're looking here at plate IQ. We can see that against right-handed pitching, Toronto still very low strikeout rate. Only 2 hitters over 20% against right-handed pitching this season. Even if we look at like recent stuff, their strikeout rate still as a team 18.3%. So just not a team that's striking out a ton against righties. Crawford could potentially limit the damage, but I don't know if he has like a huge ceiling spot. We should mention that like it's a very right-handed heavy lineup, and Crawford has a much higher swing and strike rate and whiff rate against right-handed hitters this season. So like I could see a little bit of upside potential. He's not my favorite. Not the worst play, not my favorite.
Adding to that too is like we're looking at there's 2 guys over a 20% strikeout rate, but that's probably not going to be Kevin Kiermaier tomorrow. There's a good chance it could be Dalton Varsho back.
Yeah, if he comes back, yeah. They like Kiermaier for defense, though. I mean, they play him a lot because his defense is stellar. So it might be.
Yeah,
who knows?
It would be if Varsho is back, then it would probably be Kiermaier in for Barger, though. Like it'd be one of Barger and Kiermaier.
Well, they could DH. They could DH Varsho too. Like that's always a possibility. So they could. DH
I guess
Varsho.
if he's still hurting for sure.
But then like, do they play? Where would they play Justin Turner? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Does Justin Turner play the field anymore?
No.
All right, let's talk bats. Let's talk bats. Any interest here in the Toronto bats?
A little bit, just because they've been playing really, really well recently. Cutter Crawford is not a pitcher I like to target, but a team that doesn't strike out very much would be the type of team I would want to face him with. They're secondary, only an MME kind of thing for me, but they're pretty cheap and they're hot, so I don't mind taking some shots on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I mean, overall for me, looking at this spot, it's just you want to attack him like left-handed power, and they just don't have a lot of it. If Varsho plays, I think he's fine. Horwitz is fine. You could play the hot offense like you mentioned. Not my favorite team today. I do, however, love the Red Sox today. Rodriguez, like I said, he has a lot of negative regression coming to some of these stats. You can't give up 67% hard contact without generating any whiffs and hope that it keeps paying off. So I really like this spot today for Boston. I think Tyler O'Neill is like one of the top hitters on the entire slate. Rodriguez has just been awful against righties this year.
Yeah, Tyler O'Neill and really just the entire stack, like Duran, Devers, Abreu, Valdez, that whole top 5 just looks so beautiful. And I mean, you can always mix in for cheap Yoshida, a Smith, or a McGuire, but that top 5, either as 3-mans, as 4-mans, as 2-mans, all the way through 5-mans, I really like, because these aren't guys that hit a lot of ground balls. So even if that does seem to end up being a plus skill for Rodriguez, this team doesn't do a lot of it. Like I mentioned, I don't mind taking shots on him because he's 5K, but I like the offense a heck of a lot more.
What was your t-shirt guess again? I forget.
27.
All right. No one was even like remotely close. Everybody was at least 20 short. I have at least 50 RotoGrinders shirts. Yeah, like people forget that I probably have 8 to 10 polos of like Under Armour polos from like NASCAR, like traveling. And then, I can't even remotely tell you how many like original RotoGrinders t-shirts I have from like the old parties where we would grab like 2 or 3 shirts every party. So yeah, I have over 50 RG shirts. I have a lot. So you guys were close. Richie had 29. That was close, I guess. Yeah, we got the Subway Series, and you have 1, TJ. You said you have 2. I guess you have 2.
1 short sleeve, 1 long sleeve.
you got some work to do. You got some catching up to do. You got to put some years in, buddy.
I'm just saying, you're at a 5-to-1 shirt to year ratio. I'm
Yeah.
at this point, I'm at like a 0.5-to-1 shirt to year ratio.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like my free swag. Like I have like sections in my closet, and like one of my sections in my closet is just like work shirts, RG shirts. So there you
They're like, yeah, TJ, we'll get you some shirts. It's no problem. And then they remember that I live in Canada, and it's like, never mind.
go. All right. We got the Subway Series, Yankees Mets 8.5 total here. The Yankees a 142 favorite. Luis Gil against Sean Manaea. Any interest here in Heel?
Yeah, speaking of hot teams, the Mets have been hot recently, but Heel, I think, has one of the biggest upsides on the slate. He got lit up in his last game, absolutely torched, but this is a guy that can rack up some strikeouts, so he's definitely going to be in the mix for me.
Yeah, I think he is like a top end type of play on the slate. So I think he's definitely somebody you're paying up for. The upside is certainly there. And I mean, this is not one of those spots I think you want to necessarily like overthink. I know there was a lot of runs scored in the game on Tuesday night, and Garrett Cole didn't like pitch stellar. I think he had 0 strikeouts, right? If I remember seeing that correctly, Garrett Cole had 0 strikeouts with like 70 something pitches. So hopefully you listened to us on the podcast yesterday when we told you not to play him. But yeah, I mean, like
0
he's
strikeouts.
just it's just wild. It's not the best matchup anymore. Like if we look at the last 30 days, you can see that the Mets have been a lot better overall. So you definitely worry about that. But again, this game's in Citi Field. It's a huge ballpark upgrade for him. He's been pitching great this season. Good bounce back spot. Any interest here in Sean Manaea?
Nope.
Yeah, not doing Manaea. I will say, like, Sean Manaea, his strikeouts have been nice this season. Like, he is over a strikeout per inning, and he offers some strikeouts in certain matchups, like some upside. But again, this is just not one of them. I mean, we're looking at a lineup with 3 guys over 20% strikeouts. And one of those is Aaron Judge, who, like, he can hit 2 home runs off you, too. So this is a tough spot for Sean Manaea. I'm going to pass on him. Any interest in the Yankees bats?
Yeah, I think they're one of the top stacks on the slate. You mentioned Manaea's got some good strikeouts. He also gets hit pretty darn hard, and we just saw this Yankee team demolish the Mets bullpen that is already without Edwin Diaz on Tuesday night. So I think the Yankees are one of the top stacks on the board, and I want to get to as much of them as possible.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of interest in Judge. Obviously, Jones cracked the lineup really out of nowhere. Didn't see that one coming, so I don't mind Jones. I think he's like really cheap, right?
He's been playing, super cheap. He's been playing against lefties a decent amount.
Yeah, he's 2,500 though. I mean, he just offers a nice like value option. You worry a little bit about the pinch hit risk for him, but I mean, he's so cheap that it doesn't really matter.
JD Davis too, another cheap guy who hits lefties really well. That's in that lineup now.
Yeah, JD Davis, very playable. But yeah, I mean, Juan Soto, lefty. Don't be afraid to play some Juan Soto today. Juan Soto is really good against left-handed pitching, and Sean Manaea has been really bad against left-handed hitters this season. Any interest in the Mets bats here?
Very similarly to how I feel about the Blue Jays. I'm playing 150, so I will have some Mets stacks just because they've been hot. They're a good offense, and we just saw last week, like if he doesn't have it, he can get his face punched in. He gets hit hard. He gives up a ton of walks. He doesn't get many ground balls. So if that strikeout stuff isn't working, the wheels can fall off for him pretty darn quick. So they're facing a great pitcher, so they're not a top offense by any means, but I think they do have upside.
All right, moving on. We got Atlanta at St. Louis, 8 total in this game. Atlanta 184 favorite. Chris Sale against Andre Palante. Any interest here in Chris Sale?
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be interesting to see the weather. There's been a lot of rain. There's been a lot of heat there recently. There's been a lot of wind there recently. And so if Sale's going to be really highly owned and the weather doesn't look good, I think he'll make an interesting fade all the way up at 11K. But this is the top raw points pitcher on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, he's the top pitcher for me today. He's 11K, though. Like, you got to pay for him. This lineup has been phenomenal recently against right-handed pitching, but they're still really struggling with lefties, especially like a guy like Chris Sale who can generate a lot of strikeouts. So very, very interested in this spot for Chris Sale. Any interest here on the other side with Andre Palante?
At first glance, I don't really think so. I don't want to. Like, this is a we mentioned, the weather has been really good there, and Atlanta, after really struggling when they lost Acuna, has been playing quite a bit better recently. Palante's put up some pretty solid games, but I just don't really want to do it against this Atlanta team. If I'm targeting them, it's usually with a high strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not a big strikeout guy. He is below average strikeouts. He's done a great job generating ground balls against left-handed hitters. But, I mean, they have too many righties to beat you, too, with Ozuna, Riley, d'Arnaud. So it's just really – it's a tough spot overall. We're getting a doubleheader, right? I thought I saw that they moved it to a doubleheader on Wednesday. So, I mean, you could potentially get a watered-down doubleheader lineup and take some
first
shots
game's
on him.
At 2:45 Eastern.
Yeah, and make sure DK and FanDuel count this game because sometimes on doubleheaders they don't count the second game. So just kind of pay attention to that because that would matter a ton with Chris Sale. But I assume that it should be good to go here. What are we doing with the Atlanta Bats?
Yeah, I think they are a very solid stat going up against Palante, whatever it is. Like only 14% strikeout rate to right-handed bats. He's walking a ton of them. He's getting hit hard. The ISO is high. And there's bats from both sides of the plate that are strong here. I don't feel great about the back half of this lineup if we get the same thing, like a Laureano, a Wall, a Short, all these guys in here. But maybe more as a mini stack of like Kelenic, Ozuna, Olsen, or throw Riley in there. And d'Arnaud, make it 5. That's totally fine too. But I would probably just be picking between those 5.
Cardinals bats. Any interest in St. Louis here against Sale?
No. I like targeting them right now with right-handed pitching more than left-handed pitching. Just because I'd rather play Burleson, Donovan, Gorman as opposed to Arenado and Goldschmidt. And, Contreras is back. That's great, but he's still expensive. So, no.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of interest. I will say, like, Contreras is a one-off catcher, very in play. If Wynn hits leadoff in this spot, very in play. But, I mean, you could steal on Chris Sale. So, like, Wynn might be, like, a fantastic, like, one-off stolen base upside guy, type of guy. Dodgers and White Sox, 8.5 total. Dodgers a 200 favorite. Gavin Stone, Eric Fetty. Any interest here in Stone?
I mean, it's the White Sox, so I guess so. Even though the Bobby Miller thing didn't really work out well for me, I tried to play him at low ownership. That didn't really go well. Stone doesn't really strike a lot of guys out. He's been pretty good with ground balls. What is his price? Sorry, I was just looking at it. Plate IQ 8,800. I don't love him, but I think he's in play.
I mean, it could be worse. You could have a ton of Kansas City stacks on Tuesday slate. But yeah, I mean, if he's going to be popular, I'll pass. He's a low strikeout guy. I know this team stinks, but you still got to be able to strike them out. Gavin Stone's below average strikeout pitcher. Last year, he was the same way. So a guy that just doesn't have a huge ceiling with a price increase because he's getting the White Sox. I mean, this guy was 7,800 last time out. So price increase, below average strikeouts. I think I'll pass on Gavin Stone. And if he beats me, he beats me. I like the fact that he's going to be potentially popular here. Any interest in Eric Fetty on the other side?
No. Fetty's been a guy I've actually used this year, low ownership, but not against the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of his advanced stats definitely suggest some regression to his numbers, and this is a A+ offense. So easy pass for me on Fetty today. Even though like credit where credit's due, he's been pitching a lot better. I mean, if we look at his last 30 days, it really hasn't changed much. But again, he's just getting hit really hard, and I mean, just getting a little unlucky or a little lucky. Dodgers bats back to the well in the Dodgers here.
Yeah, I'm not as interested in them as I was the day before. I think Fetty is a very competent pitcher, probably somebody they should be looking to trade here as the deadline comes up. But it's still the Dodgers, and so they are a very great stack today. I'll be interested to see the weather if it's still super hot, if the wind's blowing out, and that'll obviously enhance them. But as it stands, I think they fall behind the Yankees for me.
White Sox. The Dodgers lineup is trash right now, Gerg says. I don't even know if I have a comment. The Dodgers lineup is not trash. When you have to go through like Ohtani, Smith, and Freeman, I mean the bottom half of it might be trash with like Biggio, Vargas, and Lux, but you still have to get through the top 4 or 5 guys. I mean, they are, and like Teoscar Hernandez is expected to be back for this game too. So, like, I mean, you can make the argument, I guess. You can make any argument you want with Betts and Muncy out, but yeah, Dodgers still one of the top offenses in baseball. Any interest in the White Sox here?
Nope.
Yeah, small slate. I could see myself like being a little interested in the White Sox if we get like a lot of ownership on Gavin Stone. I don't think I'd full stack them regardless. I could see myself using like Robert, Eloy, Sheets, DeYoung type plays, but it wouldn't be a full stack. I'd say like I'd take some shots if like Gavin Stone's going to be the chalk. I think he's going to be popular. I just don't know if he gets to that point where you like want leverage of stacking against him. Minnesota at Arizona. 9 total in this game. Minnesota 120 favorites. We got Woods Richardson against Ryan Nelson. Any interest here in Woods Richardson?
You know, if you would have asked me this like a while ago, I'd have said no, absolutely not. And I mean, a lot of Woods Richardson does seem kind of smoke and mirrorsy to me. But he has been pretty darn good so far since he's been called up to the bigs. And Arizona has not been the lineup we've expected to see, like expected to get from Arizona. The underlying stuff does not look as good for Woods Richardson, so I don't think he's a top option here. But that Arizona team really hasn't been that strong this year.
Yeah, they're hittable. I mean, they're a team that's gettable. He's been, I mean, his strikeouts have been up recently. His whiff rate has been up. His swinging strike rate has been up. He's 6,900. He's cheap, right? Like at the end of the day, like on DraftKings, when you're playing 2 pitchers, can he get 15 to 20? I think the answer is yes. So I don't mind getting a little exposure here to Woods Richardson. Again, like this lineup is a beatable lineup, and I mean he has some splits where he does struggle is typically lefties, and that's really where he's been struggling recently. But I think he's worth a shot here at this price point. Any interest here in Ryan Nelson?
No. Minnesota's too good of an offense, and Ryan Nelson is not good. I
haven't checked if Fiat is pitching well or not. Is Fiat pitching well, chat? Like, I saw the lineup come out, and I played some Fiat, but I don't know if he's pitching well or not.
Only 2 hits and only 1 walk, but he also has only 1 strikeout.
Yeah, the lineup came out, and it was pretty right-handed, and I was like, I'm going to play some. It's like I mentioned on the podcast, but I guess he's pitching okay. But yeah, Ryan Nelson stinks. He is a below average strikeout pitcher, 15% on the season, gives up a lot of hard contact to both sides of the plate. Very good offense. So no interest for me. in Ryan Nelson. Absolutely love the Minnesota Bats today. In Arizona, excellent stack today.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. These guys I find are often tough to stack depending on the lineup just because they put out so many outfielders. But we're starting to get more eligibility across on DraftKings for some of these guys. It gets it a little bit easier. Outside of Correa and Lewis, they're super cheap. So top to bottom, I really like this stack.
Yep, very interested in this one. Arizona, any interest in Arizona?
As a mini stack, like give me some Jock, give me a little Christian Walker, like, and then one of Marte or Carroll or Gurriel or McCarthy, I think is okay, but maybe like a Jock one-off is really the only thing that stands out.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of interest. And that's kind of why I have some interest in Woods Richardson today. Like Peterson, Carroll, McCarthy can steal bases, so I don't mind that. But Peterson, unlike Christian Walker, is always someone you can play low ownership, but I mean, not a guy that I'm going to get a lot of ownership to today. We finish it out with the Cubs and the Giants. No total in this game because we have no idea who is pitching for the Giants today.
And then a bullpen game for Chicago.
Yeah, it looks like a bullpen game for sure. Wazinski going to draw the start here. He should probably go 40 to 50 pitches. So I don't like it's an easy situation as far as we don't want to touch the pitchers on this slate on this game. Unless like the Giants announce somebody that we feel comfortable taking shots on, but let's talk bats first here. I mean, just kind of assuming that like we're going to get a bullpen game. Is there anybody like jumping off the page to here for the Cubs?
No, not really. Big ballpark downgrade for them. I never really liked targeting the bullpen game, and they're a pretty strikeout heavy offense that'll be able to get mix and match with the platoons probably pretty easy here. I think this is a game I don't mind just crossing off in general.
Yeah, they have what, 4 lefties in the bullpen? Yeah, they have 4 lefties in the bullpen.
If we
So
get some like trash starter in who's probably going to actually pitch long enough to be a starter, then yeah, maybe I'll want to play a little bit of Cubs. But still, it's like I just don't really like playing teams in San Francisco ever.
yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones that's a tough spot to talk about the night before because both teams, we really don't know like what to expect here. As far as the Giants, like, I mean, you can take shots on like a Patrick Bailey. Soler is always someone you can take a shot on. Ramos is always someone you could take a shot on. I'd be careful with like outside of those guys, like the pinch hit risk, but it's not a fantastic spot to try to take advantage of today.
No, couldn't agree more.
All right, let's play the morning grind game. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed the Plate IQ screen share as we were going through the games there. Try to do that like once or twice a week, just to kind of give you guys a look at one of the awesome things that we have here at RotoGrinders for premium members. All right, morning grind game under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got?
Simeon Woods Richardson.
Yeah, I think that's the answer. I mean, I'm gonna go Sean Manaea just because I think like he might strike out 6 and give up 5 runs. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
I'm gonna cheat. Hunter Wisniewski.
Yeah, why is that dude 8,300? It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever why that guy's so expensive. I'm gonna go Gavin Stone, low strikeout pitcher. If he gets beat up a little bit here, they're quick to pull this guy. I mean, I hope he's chalky. I would be okay with like him making or breaking my slate. That's fine with me. Over 4,000 to hit a home run. Who's going yard today?
Let's go with Royce Lewis.
Yeah, love that guy. Always guy that I love to play. I'm gonna go Tyler O'Neill. Like I mentioned, I think he is one of the best home run plays on the entire slate. Just an absolutely fantastic platoon spot for him today. Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who's a cheap bet that you like?
Let's go with stick with the same team and go Jose Miranda.
Miranda, all right. Yeah. You like the Twins? I like the Twins. I'm gonna go a little off the board for my under 4K play today. Give me Gavin Sheets at 3,300 against Gavin Stone. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Who do you got?
I was originally going to say the Yankees, but just to stick with my build, let's go with the Twins for correlation.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Twins written down as well, but I'll take the Red Sox to score 6 or more today. Any player props or pick 'em plays that you like on this slate?
Feel like not a lot is out the night before here, but nothing that overly stands out. I just want to check. Prize Picks always has Shohei Ohtani listed at 1.5 total bases, and even the 11.5 hitter score that they have for him is too low. So if you're making a Prize Pick card, include Shohei Ohtani's overs in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I looked on sports books. There's like nothing out whatsoever. I did see a report. I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not. I did see a report that like Hayden Birdsong might start for the Giants today. I don't even know if he's in the player pool. I'm checking really quick. So yeah, he's not even in the player pool. He would if he gets added to the player pool and he's cheap. Like he's a decent prospect. He has a good fastball curveball combination, good slider, I think too. So watch that one because he's a guy that throws in the mid 90s with a big, like he's like 6'4". So watch that. And he's starting in AAA, so it wouldn't be a bullpen game. I think he'd be playable if he's really cheap if they add him to the player pool. Any other like bets jumping off to you at all here?
No, sir.
All right, I got Minnesota over 4.5 runs. I like this one a lot, and this is one that I just already bet because I think the Twins are going to get the job done today. They're on the road, so you're guaranteed the 9th inning, which is always nice. Ryan Nelson is a guy that absolutely gets shelled from time to time. He's just a below average strikeout pitcher. So give me Minnesota over 4.5 runs. That's going to wrap it up here for Wednesday. We will have some early slate content on RotoGrinders for, I think it's like a 5-game slate or something? So there'll be a Grinders live show on Wednesday. I think it's Dean and Blender. And then I'm on Crunch Time, but I also don't know who I'm on Crunch Time with. I forget, but it's a 5-game slate at 1 o'clock. There you go, Roth and Squirrel. So come hang out with us live tomorrow morning-ish. And hope everyone has a fantastic Wednesday. We're back Thursday talking baseball. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you then.